Hello, welcome, Gay and Gayer, episode 8, we think. Hopefully it's episode 8, or I'll look like an idiot.
This is Andy. I'm Brian Ray. I'm sick. Andy is insisting I do a Gay and Gayer despite being sick, because we have fans.
I told Brian that there's a Facebook group, and they want to see a video.
Dear fans, I'm fucking sick.
Brian is cranky.
Our first subject is whether or not we look down or judge other homos for hooking up with ugly homos. And I wanted to say that I don't, because I think consciously I don't, but whether I want to admit it or not, subconsciously I kind of do. So which I think the moral of that story is, if you have an ugly hookup, try your hardest to not let it... Oh, you know what? I just realized I've done?
What?
I've had ugly hookups in the past, and I deny them, and I wonder if it's worse than... Because I try to have them knock it out. But if you're the cuter one in the ugly hookup, the ugly person's gonna want that to be known.
Oh yeah.
Because they hooked up with the cute person.
Oh yeah.
So they're gonna try to spread it. And if the cute person denies it, is it better for the cute person or worse?
I've been in both those places. I've been the more attractive person, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna tell all their friends, and everyone's gonna hook up with an uggo. And I've been the ugly one, and been like, I gotta tell everyone who I just hooked up with.
I have only ever been the cute person. Sorry.
I'm to my credit, I'm usually actually the less attractive one. I tend to hook up.
I guess that's a good thing. I guess I can't really chastise
punked all the pretty people. They hook up with Andy. I have a more complicated thing. On the one hand, when I know of someone maybe dating an ugly person, I'm like, props. You actually care about what's inside.
Oh, I do know someone like that.
That's so rare.
I know a really cute person who, not anymore, but he was dating a not so attractive person for a long time. And my opinion of him is definitely very different now.
Yeah, it goes up.
It definitely goes up, because it shows that...
you're a genuine human being.
Right. Not that I give a shit if you, are genuine or have emotions or whatever, but it does show that your, pure caring for, attractiveness is a little bit lower than... You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could just have, a fetish for ugly people.
No, because he's hooked up with a lot of cute people, too.
Oh, okay. So, we know he can get cute people, and yet he's in a relationship with
He's just kind of a whore.
Okay.
But his relationships have essentially been... Not all of them, but the longer ones have been ugly people.
Yeah, so, granted it's nice when...
Ooh, then how much of the factor is just comfort for being in a relationship with an ugly person, because they're not going to dump you, they're ugly.
You do know that you have the power in the relationship. It's really hard for people, I think, in a relationship, not to recognize that there are power differentials.
Oh god, of course there are.
And so when you're the hot one, you're like, you can't leave me, are you kidding? I'm the best you can get. I don't actually think this very much, but...
I think in my relationship... By the way, Matt has never been mentioned on Gay and Gayer. I love you, Matt, you're my boyfriend. In my relationship, I don't think there's a clear cut, who's cuter and who's not, because we're both so gorgeous. But I definitely think there's a very clear cut power differential. You agree?
Well, I think it's more complicated actually for the more powerful person, because you're like, is he dating me for me or for my power?
Moving on.
Now, just throwing this out there, I don't know if straight people, does this occur in the straight world? I don't really think so.
No.
I think it's just assumed that the guys are not going to be very attractive because women don't care about that.
Right.
The woman's always hotter, comparatively.
Right. Yeah, that's just the way it is.
You guys luck out that women don't care that you are balding and out of shape and have bad skin, and women don't care. They like what's on the inside. Fascinating.
Our next subject we're going to talk about is open relationships, because I've discussed with a lot of people in my little social groups, and I know several open relationships, know people in several open relationships, and I have been in open relationships, and I'm not going to go to that, but I'm very familiar with that. And I've got a lot of resistance. I always thought, considering I know several people that have open relationships, and they're in gay relationships, that it would be very widely accepted, and and it would be a good thing. But a lot of homos are really resistant to it and don't understand why it exists, and say, why don't you just be single, and it's pretty much just having a fuck buddy, and Andy, thoughts?
A couple thoughts. I tend to be rather easy to please sexually, so I've never had the inclination when I'm dating someone that I would need or be interested in an open relationship, because I wouldn't be seeking out any sort of sexual activity that any person probably couldn't provide for me anyway, the person I'm dating. Although for everyone else, I support open relationships because it increases the pool of people who I can have sex with. And if you're all being monogamous with each other, then I can't have sex with any of you, and that's lame because, the more sex, the better. So everyone else should be in open relationships. I don't tend to think they work very well, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I know of people that have been in open relationships for, like, years.
Years?
Years.
Okay. I think it's rare. I mean, I think it's rare for it to be successful. I think it's much more common for the gays to have open relationships than the straights.
Yeah.
And lesbians, the whole issue of sex within the relationship is basically a moot point, is my understanding.
Oh, yeah. It's not even, like, as far as, I mean, for, like, the fourth time on
That's
Gang Gear,
the comment where
I'm going to talk to lesbians out there. I still have got no contact from you. You must not be watching. I don't know. I know there's some of you homos out there that aren't going out on Saturday nights and instead are spending it, like, at Novax with their lesbians and that do watch this. So get your lesbians to email me because I want to know more about lesbianism. Because as far as I'm concerned, like, your relationships are 100% based on, like, emotion and, like, connecting with each other. Like, how is sex not a factor at all? I don't understand this.
They do actually.
It's like one of the top 3 like factors in like a relationship with me.
I think
It's
a lot
not
of
that
gay
biased.
people are actually clueless about what generic lesbian sex is. Like 2 women decide to have sex. What exactly?
I have to assume because I'm very like.
What exactly are they doing to each other?
I agree with the Chris Hartman thought of sex about the insertion. Like I think that's sex.
No insertion, no sex.
Right. So, going along with that, I assume all like top lesbians always have a strap on. Like it's always ready. It's like in the trunk or it's like in the purse or something. They grab it. It's on. They can fuck. And like that's lesbian sex. I could be wrong. I don't know because you won't email me. Ganggear@gmail.com.
I don't know what they're doing, but I'm sure that's not it.
That's what I assume.
Could just be a bunch of scissoring. Who knows?
I don't know about scissoring. I don't think that really exists. Our last subject, which we got into a little bit before we started because we thought it was so interesting, is that I have recently realized and like I had talked to a lot of people to get to this conclusion that a lot of like 16, 17, 18-year-old homos are really wanting to like settle down and have that boyfriend and have companionship and like sit around and watch movies and go to the mall and hold hands and be very, very relationship-wise.
They want to act like straight people.
Right, and then as soon as you hit 19, 20, you get into like super gay horror phase and like you just want to get out there and go around. And I've experienced both of these phases absolutely, and probably right around those time periods as well. And it makes you wonder if you're in a really serious, good relationship all through 16 through 18, is it doomed because you're gonna hit that? I mean, I know someone who lived with their boyfriend for 2 years when he was 17 and 18, hit his horror phase, broke up. Like, started cheating, the boyfriend found out, broke up.
Yeah, I think part of it is that the 16 and 17-year-olds, when they're coming out, are coming out of straight culture, and so they're envisioning their relationships being like all the straight people they know, and so they fall into that kind of straight, we're going to date and be monogamous and be loving, romantic. And then they get comfortable being around gay people and being with the gays, and they realize, oh my god, we're all guys here, we all want to have sex all the time. Let's fuck like rabbits.
But I think, like, American society...
it takes a couple years to get to that place.
Like, society in general is going more gay. And not just, like, Metro and all that, like, bullshit. Like, the fact that, like, straight people are accepting that we just want to have, random sex more and more often.
Straight men have always wanted that.
Well, I mean, straight women, then, I mean, are more so accepting of that.
Yeah,
if your defense is that
it was like Sex in the City. It was like
Sex in the City helped a lot.
Like the liberated, empowered woman who gets to fuck around. Wasn't it like? Didn't they all not do so well at that? I didn't really watch Sex in the City.
Yeah, they didn't have all.
Didn't they end up like getting really disappointed at the casual sex, and they were always actually seeking a relationship? I feel like they would complain about the casual sex.
Sex in the City.
That's the problem with straight guys. They don't have women who will have sex with them. I pity you, straight men.
Yeah, what if they would like clean themselves up?
No.
You don't think?
Women just it's never going to be close. Sexual interest. It's never going to be close.
Alright, do you want to switch the subject for the next 30 seconds? This is my dog. My dog's been bad.
What can we do in 30 seconds? Anything going on in the world? Brittany, we feel for you.
Oh, today everyone, it's Super Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's not too late.
We don't vote.
I'll put this up right now.
Sorry.
You're not supposed to say that.
I'm not even registered.
I pretend sometimes that I vote.
I don't at all. I'm not registered.
California,
I never
will
vote.
This up now. We need you to vote. Go to the polls.
If who you wanted to win didn't win, you can blame me because I didn't fucking vote.